What is good, everybody? It's Karsten Kroening, back at again with another YouTube video. Today we are doing my pickups and favorites, where I show you guys the clothes I've got, the music I've been listening to, the movies I've been vibing with, whatever it might be that has just kind of brought me a sense of fulfillment or been thought-provoking or just generally cool stuff that I want to share with you guys. So let's just get right into it. So the first piece that I want to show you guys is this Rick Owens work shirt or work jacket. The last few years, Rick has made a lot of pieces in this style. He's made a lot of these work shirts or work jackets of different materials and slightly different proportions and slightly different details. And I've really loved these work jackets or work shirts that Rick has put out because they're not too crazy, they're very wearable, but they have these great details to them. Excellent materials, and the shapes of them are always just so perfect. Rick applies that expert level of tailoring to the work shirt or work jacket. It's a great example of how you don't always need to reinvent the wheel to make something great. This next piece I have is from Arcteryx, but you may notice no bird logo. And that's because it's actually from Arcteryx Veilance, which might scare some of you off because there's not really a lot of flexing you can do with it then. But Veilance is actually, in my opinion, the superior Arcteryx subline. And that's because Veilance is focused on sourcing the best materials as well as the best cuts and fabric technology that they can use. So pretty much they're Arcteryx putting their best foot forward and using all of their crazy technology to make lifestyle clothing. This is the Perrin jacket, supposed to be a rain jacket, but it's different from a lot of the other Arcteryx jackets that are meant for hiking or rock climbing, because instead it's designed for like an everyday use. Because of the way that this pattern is cut and it's tailored, this jacket fits the body really well. I've gotten a lot of use out of this jacket. I've really enjoyed it. This next item is a pair of jeans that I actually made for my own brand. And these are called the dismas jeans from my brand, Karsten Kroening. Crazy amount of work went into producing them. They're coming out for my new collection. They actually pushed the whole collection back quite a bit because we really wanted to perfect these. They're this good medium weight black denim that have just a tasteful little bit amount of wax on it. And they have great details such as YKK zippers, super high quality metal buttons, amazing details on the pockets, and of course this really unique cool pattern which we developed. The pattern that they're made out of is pretty complicated. Most jeans only have 4 main components. This one actually has 8 main components. The name dismas is a Greek name, Greek word, and it kind of ties into the rest of the collection. There's a lot of inspiration that went into the collection, from Neon Genesis, Septuagint, to early Catholic tradition. If you're interested in them, they will be coming out soon. And you can follow me on Instagram if you want to support the brand and learn when these items will come out. The item I have are these canvas cargo pants from the homie Keezy and his brand Haven Court. Keezy sent me these cargos a few months ago. I have just been getting an insane amount of wear from these. They are just incredibly high quality. Every detail is well thought out. The fit is great. Every single piece of hardware feels great. They are seriously one of the most high quality pairs of pants I have ever owned. All the time, there's not a week that has gone by since I've gotten these that I have not worn them. But yeah, thank you to Keezy for hooking me up with these. I appreciate it. Definitely go check out his brand Haven Court. Next piece is from the homies at Professor E. They hooked me up with these boro pants that have these beautiful fabric that they source. Fabric has all these really cool embellishments on it that sort of remind me of Victorian Renaissance embellishments. Then these have been borofied. So you have this beautiful fabric that has already could have stood on its own for being a great, cool piece, and then it's borrowed. It's been a while since I've owned a more avant-garde or out there piece like this. I was super happy and honored when Professor E hooked me up with these. Again, definitely go check them out. Next piece is actually the shirt I'm wearing. This is the pancras waffle thermal from my upcoming collection. It's another Greek name, but it is a two-toned waffle or thermal knit. This version that I'm wearing right now has been one of the sample pieces that has gone through a lot of different photo shoots, has been really beat up. There's burn holes all in it. This shirt was sort of designed to be the more practical piece in the collection. A super great material for the thermal. And then of course, little details like the cuffs having these holes for your thumbs, so you can wear them like this if you'd like, or you can wear them normally. The next piece is also from the upcoming collection. Again, it's a little bit beat up because we really went hard on the photo shoots, but this is the evangelion long sleeve. You'll notice there are 2 long sleeves in this collection, one a waffle thermal, The other is made out of this stretchy, ribbed material that's very, very soft and very, very comfortable. This is just an extremely comfortable shirt. It's super soft. I think the material on it is one of the best materials we've sourced. It also features a two-tone detail where it has these sort of back gray panels. And then it also has 3M stitching all throughout it. So that way, if you shine a light on it, it'll sort of bounce light back and look reflective. And then of course we added the detail of having the thumb hole in the cuff. And this long sleeve along with this long sleeve and the jeans will all be available coming soon in the next collection. Again, go follow the Instagram. Another piece I've picked up is this vintage late 90s, early 2000s vintage Joy Division Komakino shirt. If you guys know me, Joy Division is one of my favorite bands. Komakino was either an EP or a single they released that was pretty obscure. And this shirt was released when New Order played a set at a certain festival where they only played Joy Division songs. And so they sold this shirt in conjunction with that kind of special moment. And this has always been one of my favorite Joy Division shirts. When I was able to pick this up for a fair price, I was super excited because it had been on my wish list for years. And so now I finally have it, and I'm super hyped. This next pickup was not even really supposed to be a pickup, and I was just super lucky that I got these. But these are the post-archive faction Cloud Monster 2s that just released. When these released, they pretty much sold out on a bunch of different sites. I didn't think I would stand a chance on getting them, but the guys at Machis hooked me up. Were able to get me these even though they were pretty much sold out everywhere. So shout out to the Machis team. I've really loved these sneakers. If you know the history of this channel, you'll know that I haven't ever really been like a big sneaker or footwear guy until recently. And I think that was kind of around the hype. I just really didn't love the sneaker culture or the sneaker hype. But now I've kind of seen it as the art form and the extension of design that it is, in how it's almost related to industrial design or architecture in a way, more than like clothing. And so yeah, I've been super happy with these. I love the design of them. These are super comfortable as well. I did not have any experience with On before I bought these, but yeah, I am super hyped to have gotten these. They're super dope. This next piece is from Boris, Bidjan, Saberi. These are the Bomba 5 Salomon collabs. This is the second pair of Boris, Bidjan, Saberi Salomons I have purchased. I also have the high top ones, but these are the low tops. They're very similar to like the XT2s from Salomon, and they have this beautiful object dye to them where they're this brown color. I've wanted a pair of these for a long time, but they are usually super expensive for a pair of sneakers, more than I'm usually comfortable paying, but I finally snagged a pair for a reasonable price. And now I have them and I wear them all the time. They're super beautiful. I think just what makes them so special is that dye process. And yeah, just super happy to grab these. This last piece is another piece that I've made. However, this piece is not going to be for sale. This was just kind of a custom DIY project that I wanted to show you. But it's actually this charm necklace that I made. I realized I wanted to make one of these after kind of looking into the history of charm necklaces and charm bracelets. I think we kind of have this rap these days that they're kind of like this chuggy millennial thing, but like little hearts and stuff. However, looking into the history, I thought it was super interesting. Pretty ancient practice, and it involves like a lot of symbolism. Found the symbolism and sort of the idea of casting your anxieties or hopes into a piece of jewelry to just be super fascinating and kind of beautiful. So I decided I wanted to make my own. I also loved the look of like having mixed metal, different shades and tarnish levels of silver, bronze, gold. So I actually found a bunch of various different necklaces found at different vintage malls. I took them apart and then I attached them all into this. And it's a nice, interesting accessory that I find pretty cool. These are two colognes that I picked up recently that I really love and I want to show you guys. The first is this one. This is by La Folle Un Plaisir. This is Kafka by the Shore. The fragrance is named after the Haruki Murakami book of the same name. It's this vanilla tobacco scent that is just perfectly balanced between sweet and smoky, and I just think has a really pleasant, warm smell. It's very warm. I would recommend it for winters. The ciliage and the longevity of it is super, super great. Next one I have is from Neandertal, and this is Us by Neandertal. Neandertal is a UK brand that is all about the presentation. I mean, look at this bottle. It looks like a rock of some sort. But this particular fragrance from Neandertal has to be one of my favorite fragrances, I think, of all time. It's a really complex scent that's very appealing and has a lot of layers to it, but it also has a great ciliage and longevity. So the sort of main piece of the scent is it's very peppery or incensey. Then it has these notes of citrus, rose and eucalyptus. So in a sense, it's very traditionally masculine, but then it has these floral undertones. Overall, it just mixes very well and creates a unique scent. I think it cuts down on the sharpness and aggression of like what normally would be a peppery scent that can sometimes become a little too pungent, and really rounds it off. Sonny Boy is an incredible TV show. If you're going to watch any of the things I mentioned on this list, go watch Sonny Boy. Pretty much it's about this school which ends up hopping into a bunch of different dimensions. The best way I can describe it is it's like a David Lynch film, but if it were a coming of age anime. But instead of being dark and disturbing, it's very lighthearted, whimsical. It's a bit avant-garde and otherworldly and dreamlike. The shots, the color palette, it's all really beautiful and bright. It's definitely one of the best films or TV shows I've ever seen. It's currently now in my Letterboxd top 4. I think this just came out in 2021 or 2022, so it's a very new piece of media. But yeah, it might be one of the best animes I've ever seen. I'd put it up there with something like Neon Genesis. Next is Suspiria. Suspiria is a 2018 film that remakes an original movie from the 70s, I believe. It follows this post-war Berlin ballet academy, and it's a horror movie set in this setting. I think what makes it so great is that it's a horror movie, but set in such a unique world. And so you have all these really beautiful, unique sort of Bauhaus aesthetics. If you don't like more disturbing horror movies, this probably isn't for you. But if you can get into that, this is definitely a great one. Next is Paprika. And the best way I could describe this movie is if Inception, but if Inception was on mushrooms. Now that Inception comparison is actually pretty direct because Inception was directly inspired by this movie, as it's sort of this about people who use science to go into dreams and battle other people. It was made by the same guy who made Perfect Blue, and if you know that movie, it's one of the most influential films of all time. And Paprika is a little bit more lighthearted than Perfect Blue. Next film I want to talk about is Cure. Cure is a Japanese psychological thriller, murder horror film. The whole time you really don't know what is going on. It's just an absolute wild ride. If you like psychological thrillers or psychological movies, this is the one for you. Angel's Egg. Angel's Egg is another anime, very dreamlike and terrifying. There's almost no talking throughout the whole thing. It's just this journey of this little girl taking an egg through this really strange, dark, post-apocalyptic seeming world. Watching this is like watching some sort of prophetic vision. It's very interesting. First Reformed. This is a Paul Schrader movie, same guy who made Taxi Driver, and the best way I can describe it is sort of the spiritual successor of Taxi Driver. But pretty much it's about a small town pastor who encounters a wannabe ecological terrorist. Very poetic, so well written, so good. One of the best movies I've ever seen. Finally, my last recommendation is Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. This was an anime movie that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. Very much has that late 90s, early 2000s feel. A lot less serious than I think a lot of these other movies. This is just a cool, easy movie to kind of throw on that I think is fun, and it looks visually sick. That being said, that's pretty much the whole video. I'm gonna put you guys on to some music I've been listening to lately, but give me a follow on Instagram. Again, my name is Karsten Kroening, and here's some tunes to close you out.
New phone, who the fuck is this? You was putting in pain since when? My old friend trying to make him
up in the abandoned base, grab a crowbar, meet his face, take pliers and break every finger, knock his teeth.